Welcome to TalkersOfGeeks.com. Justin here, back with more comic book reviews. And today I'm going to be reviewing Batman the Imposter number 3, which is the conclusion of this DC Black Label series. And as always, I give you a brief synopsis. So here we go. The battle against the imposter poisoning the Batman's name heats up, while Detective Blair Wong makes a deadly decision. Is there any way back for Bruce Wayne's war on crime after the damage the copycat has done? Or was the war already lost before it ever began? Let me just see if I can give this thing a round of applause here. Just in case you can't hear the sound, I'll give a clap as well. Um, I enjoyed the hell out of this series, as you know from my previous two reviews. This was a fun read. This really discovered and really just showcased more of Batman's psyche, which I think they're going to be doing a lot in the Batman movie, is of how is the Batman affecting Bruce Wayne's psyche and how does it affect a young Bruce Wayne? And just to give a quick overview of this entire series, minus spoilers right now. Alfred has left Bruce because he couldn't handle his darkness. Leslie Tompkins takes place more of that voice of reason figure in this limited series, and Bruce has a new interest in love interest in Blair Wong. And for the most part, the Batman, the Imposter, finishes on a strong note. Unfortunately for me, like my biggest complaint was who the Imposter was. I mean, it kind of was. I felt it was kind of left field. But it was kind of little hints there and there, just based off this character. You can tell that he's a bad cop, that he's a crooked cop, and he has no corpse of beating people down to get information. You kind of see it coming in this one, but for the most part, it was still a very solid, stellar. This one ended with some really great action-packed story here, and I love the once again the relationship dynamic between Leslie and Bruce. Bruce being Batman, but also having feelings for Blair, his relationship with Blair, and of course the imposter and how Gotham is now going to be viewing Batman. And one thing that I love what they did at the ending here, and this is not a spoiler at all, is I love how they always, with Batman, you always have this feeling that maybe the presence of Batman creates these villains, creates these monsters. And that's something the book ends with that question is Batman really helping Gotham, or does his presence in the presence of Batman create these villains? And that's something that I've always really questioned myself as a Batman fan and Batman reader. It's like, maybe Bruce does, just the presence of Bruce has Bruce as Batman brings people who want to challenge the Batman. Maybe there wouldn't be this much high level of supervillains if Batman wasn't around. Maybe there are people such as the Joker. The Joker just gets a kick out of just having this relationship with Batman, trying to one up him, and like he always says, even in the Dark Knight movie, I feel like we're gonna be doing this forever. So is the presence of Batman? This is a great discussion for the comment section. Is the presence of Batman really creating the villains that we know and love? And that's one question I think the book really did raise up towards the end as Batman continues his Batman career. But for the most part, the writing was solid. It was still a great detective mystery. Like I said, the relationship between Leslie and Bruce for me was definitely one of the highlights, and especially Bruce and Blair's relationship here, especially a young Batman who really isn't much of a playboy, so he is in love and he's navigating these type of emotions. Like he says in the book, is that he's always been filled with rage and darkness and anger, but Blair kind of brings in this new feeling that he wasn't used to, and something that he wasn't used to experiencing and feeling. And I'm hoping that this team does come back and do another series with this type of Batman, because I would love to see a little bit more of a kind of a sequel, or just another series with this whole team, with this art style, with this type of storytelling, with the fact that Alfred is gone. So you have a Batman who really doesn't have that much of a moral compass besides Leslie here. And I would love to see what they do. They kind of did allude to the Joker at the end. So I'm kind of curious to see if that's going to be the next big bad. Hopefully, if this team stays together and gives us another great Batman book. Overall, very solid edition. Very great ending. I would have to say I felt the Imposter was a little bit disappointing. It kind of looked like they just went to the GCPD and was like, choose that one. For me, I think it would have made more sense if it was Gordon, but a bad Commissioner Gordon will be a little bit probably not something people will probably be too keen and happy to see. But hey, everybody can go rogue, right? So everybody's human, everybody can go rogue. So that's something I would have. I had expectations of a Gordon, but my theory was wrong. But still a solid entry, solid series. Definitely pick up the entire series. This was one hell of a way to end it. Great question at the end is, does Batman create these monsters? Is the presence of Batman creating these monsters? Is Batman actually helping the city, or is he actually destroying it with his presence? So this is Justin from AttackOfTheGeeks.com. If you watch this on YouTube, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You can find us on all social media channels, Instagram at AttackOfTheGeeks, Twitter at AttackOfTheGeeks, Facebook.com/AttackOfTheGeeks blog, Twitch.tv/AttackOfTheGeeks, and most importantly, if you're watching this in Attack of the Geeks, browse the website and check out other stuff from anime reviews to interviews. In our recent interview and our press roundtable interview with James Cameron, you can find that at AttackOfTheGeeks.com. Later days, I'll catch you on the next review. Peace.